Hey, what's up users? This is John at Muse for You, here to help you build awesome websites without code. And in this video tutorial, we're going to be recreating a pixelated to non-pixelated scroll effect. So if I scroll up, we can see that the image in the background becomes non-pixelated. At first it's pixelated, and then it becomes non-pixelated. So that's the effect I'll be showcasing or showing today. And along with this effect, I'll also be showing some homepage ideas using widgets from useforyoushop.com. So if I scroll back up, here I have the interactive particles widget, and if I hover my mouse over it, we can see that the word reconnect breaks apart, and it just makes for a really nice effect there. Very good. And then for the menu, I'm using the big menu widget found at useforyoushop.com. So if I click on it, we have the menu there. We have home, about, work, clients, and contact. And then down here, I have the Cliq effects widget with these icons. So if I click on each of these icons, they have a click effect and they change color. So an interesting idea with this might be to have a composition widget so that when you click on each of these buttons, you could have like a little dialog box appear and show more information pertaining to your website and what you're offering. Very good. And over here, I've got a logo from freepik.com that I just downloaded from freepik.com. So yeah, in this video tutorial, we're going to be recreating this entire website, and we're going to go over everything I just mentioned. So let's begin. So I have a blank website here, so I'm just going to go to my blank site. And the first thing I'm going to do is download that image that I have on the website. So I'm going to go to unsplash.com. And I'm going to type in kayak to find that image, and I'll scroll down and here it is. So I'm going to right click, or I'm going to click on it, excuse me, let me go back. Yeah, I'll just click on it, then I'll click on download, and then I'll right click save image as, and I'll find that folder. Very good, so I have my folder here, and I'm just going to save this as image-1. Very good, so now I'm going to go to the folder, and here I have the image. Now if I right click and I open with preview, we can see if we go to tools, adjust size, we can see that this image is very large. We actually don't need it this large. We can set it to 2048 pixels in width. Now Adobe Muse would do this automatically if we were just placing the image onto your Adobe Muse website. It would resample the image so that it's not larger than 2048 pixels in width. Because this is going in a browser fill, and it's kind of filling within either a rectangle or the browser, we do want to make it smaller because Adobe Muse won't automatically resample the image if we're placing it within the website and not just dragging and dropping within the website. So I reset it to the width 2048. So I'm going to click OK, and we can see we reduced the size. It was 2.3 megabytes, and now it's 431 kilobytes, which is a lot better for load times on your website. So I'm going to click OK, and now I'm going to hit Command S to save, or I can go to File, Save to save the image. So now I'm going to close this window. So the next thing I want to do is create a pixelated version of this image. So I'm going to right click, open with Adobe Photoshop, and I'll close this panel here. And to add that effect, I want to go to Filter, Pixelate, and then I'm going to click on Mosaic. And that's it. And we can make the cell size bigger by changing the number here, so I can say 50, and it'll make it really pixelated. I find that 15 works really well because I still want the user to, or the visitor to kind of make out what the image is, so it's not just totally blocky. So I find that 15, the cell size of 15 works well for this example. So I'm going to click OK. But you can choose, you know, kind of how big you want to make this the pixelation there for the blocks. There we go. So now I'll go to File, Export, Save for Web, and I'll save it as JPEG. And I'm okay with, I like the size of the JPEG is 467.4 kilobytes, so that's good. Quality, I want it 100%, and yeah, JPEG is good. And we can see the width is 2048 by 1152. So I'm happy with that. So I'll click Save, and I'll go back to that folder, and I'll just save it as image-2. Okay, so now I have my two images. Excuse me. I have my pixelated image, and I have my regular image. So I'll go back to my Adobe Muse website, and I'll go to Browser Fill, because I want to add the pixelated image here first in the browser fill. So I'll go to browser fill, I'll click on add image, and then I'll go to my folder here and I'll select image 2, and that's the pixelated image. So now for fitting, I'll say scale to fill, I'll position it in the center, and I don't want any scrolling. I don't want the image to scroll with the website. I just want it to stay fixed. So we'll leave it there. And if I did say scrolling, the image would actually not look very good. So we have it there. We have the setting scale to fill, position center, and no scrolling. So if I go to File, Preview Page in Browser, we have that pixelated image as the background. So now I'm going to add the other image in a rectangle. So I'm going to click the rectangle tool because we want that other image to kind of scroll over this image to give it that kind of pixelated to non-pixelated effect. So I'm going to create a rectangle. So I'm going to make the rectangle 100% width. And if it's not 100% width, you can just select the 100% width tool right up here. And I'm going to fill this rectangle with the non-pixelated image. So I'm going to go to Fill, Add Image, and I'll select Image 1. All right, and then I'm going to go to Fill, and the same settings we set for the browser fill. I'll just say Scale to Fill, position it in the center there. Very good. Now the next part is very important for this effect to work, because now if we just go to File, Preview Page in Browser, we just have that block there, and it does look like it's working. I mean, we have this image in the background, and then we have the non-pixelated, but we want this to work on scroll. So the way to make that work is we go to this rectangle, we click on the rectangle, we go to Fill, we go to Scroll, and then on Motion, we click Motion, and then we set everything to 0. Very good. So this image is kind of like fixed in the background as well, and it's not going to move, so that when we move the rectangle, the image is fixed within the rectangle, and it's going to have that effect. And we don't need to worry about this key position here. It doesn't make a difference. Okay, so now I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and I'll scroll, and we actually need to add more scroll space to the page so that we can have that effect, and we need to move this down within the page so it scrolls up. So now I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and I'll scroll up, and we have that pixelated to non-pixelated effect. Looks really nice. And I'll make this rectangle a little bit bigger. I want to make it, let's say 400 in height. And very good. So now I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and that's it. We have that effect, and it looks really good. And if we wanted it to go higher in the page, we'd just add more scroll space here. Just grab this tab and bring it down. So now I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and I'll scroll up, and we can see it goes to the top of the page. Very good. So what I want to do actually is to have this this rectangle stop when it gets to a certain point on the page, so that we can just see kind of this area here. So I want it to stop when it gets to like this point here. So to do that, I simply select the rectangle, I go to Scroll Effects. So we're kind of using two different types of scroll effects here. We're using kind of the motion within the fill scroll effect, and we're using the kind of regular motion scroll effect here in Adobe Muse. So I'll click motion. The initial motion, I want to set it to 1. And then the key position, I'm going to play with the key position. So I'm going to set it to like right here, because again, I have to picture, or I'm picturing that this is the top of the browser. And if this is the top of the browser, then I want the image to stop kind of this distance from the top of the browser, so that we're just seeing that portion of the image which I mentioned earlier. So we have the initial motion set to 1, and then the final motion I want to set it to 0. All right, so now I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and I'll scroll up, and perfect, it stops right there. So if we can see that the clouds are pixelated, excuse me, the clouds here are pixelated. This bottom part here is pixelated as well, and kind of the center piece here with the lady and the kayak are not pixelated. So that's where I wanted to stop, and perfect. So we have this really nice pixelated to non-pixelated effect that stops right in the position that I want it to. And her hand is actually a little bit pixelated here, so To change that, I'm gonna just make the rectangle a little bit bigger. I'll set it to let's say 425, and I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and perfect. So we have everything non-pixelated. We have the lady and the kayak, and everything around is pixelated. Kind of the top portion here and the bottom portion here. Okay, so that's the pixelated to non-pixelated effect. So now I'm going to get into some homepage ideas with widgets from useforyoushop.com, or add a little more styling to this website with those widgets. So to access those widgets, I'm going to go to useforyoushop.com, and we can just click on the pop-up here. So I'm going to use the interactive particles effect widget. I'm going to use the big menu widget for the menu, and I'm going to use the Cliq effects widget. So you can get access to all these widgets and any new widgets I come out with for $39 a year by clicking here, or you can subscribe with PayPal by clicking here. So yeah, you can subscribe here or subscribe with PayPal by clicking here. Very good. So I'll scroll down, and we have the interactive particles effect widget here, and we have the big menu widget right here, and we have the Cliq effects widget here. Now you can purchase individually, or again you can subscribe to the yearly plan. To purchase individually, you just click on the widget and click add to cart. Very good. So those are the 3 widgets I'll be using in this video tutorial. So I'm going to go back to my Adobe Muse website, and the first widget I'm going to place is the interactive particles effect widget. So I'm going to go to my library panel. If you don't see your library panel, you can just go to Window and click on Library, and there it is. So I'm going to go to my interactive particles effect widget. I'm going to click, hold, and drag and place onto my Adobe Muse website. So there it is, and now I'm going to resize it to about so, and I'm going to fill it with the PNG that says reconnect. So I'll click add file in the widget options, and let's see, I have it here. So I have this reconnect.png here image. So there it is, and now that's all I have to do. So if I go to File, Preview Page in Browser, we have this nice interactive particles effect widget, and we scroll over it, and we have this nice effect. So I want to make this box a little bit bigger, so the particles have plenty of room to play in. Very good. So that looks good there. And I'm going to fix this to the top of the browser so it doesn't scroll. And I'm going to, I did that by pinning it to the top and the center. So now I'm going to go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and there we go. The particles have plenty of space to move around, and we have that nice effect there. Very good. And if I scroll up, we have the effect there, the pixel to non-pixelated effect. Very good. And we have that there, and if we scroll back up, we can play with the interactive particles effect widget there. All right, very good. So that's the first thing that I've added to the Adobe Muse website. Now the next thing I'm going to do is add the big menu widget. So I'll go back to my Adobe Muse website. I'll go to Plan View. I'll go to the master page, and because I like adding my menus on the master page, it just makes it easier if I want to create more pages. If I add the menu to the master page, I can just create another page, and that other page will have the menu. So I'm going to go to my library panel again, and I'm going to go to the big menu widget, and I have it right here, and I'll click on the drop down. Now the effect that I want to use, because there's 11 different menus, the effect that I want to use is the little boxes option here. So I'm going to click the little box, excuse me, not option, the little boxes big menu widget here. So I'll click, hold, and drag and place onto my Adobe Muse website. And here I'm going to place the button right up here, and I'm going to drag it out to make this button a bit wider. And now I'm just going to style the menu. So I'm going to click the widget options here. For the open button menu text, I want to say menu. Okay, very good. And I'm happy with that size, 24 pixels. For the color, I'm actually going to sample some colors here, and I'm going to go actually back to my I'm going to reference this site for the colors, or actually what I'm going to do to sample the colors, I'm going to go back to my plan view, I'm going to go to the home page, and I'm going to add the logo here I downloaded a logo from freepik.com, and I have it here. It's natural water logos, and I'm gonna right click on the .eps, open with Adobe Illustrator, and I have it here. And the logo I want to use is this natural water logo. So I'm gonna hit Command C to copy. I'm gonna go back to my Adobe Muse website, and I'm actually gonna put it in the master page so that every page has the logo. So I'll hit Command V to paste, and I'll click OK, and then I'll just place it here, kind of up here in the corner, and then I'll pin it to the upper left hand corner by clicking the pin option here in the upper left hand corner. I'll go back to my plan view, and then I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. We have the logo here to the left. That looks nice. And the menu, we want to pin it to the upper right as well, because we can see it's a little bit kind of too far from the right. So I'll go back to my plan view, and I'll pin this to the upper right hand corner. Perfect. So now I'm actually going to sample this blue color here from the logo. So to do that, I'm going to click on the browser fill, click browser fill, color, sample color tool, and click that sample this blue here. Now I'm going to save this as a swatch by or as a color in my swatches panel by clicking this little icon here. So I click there, and then I click OK. Alright, so now we have this color in our swatches panel, and I can set the browser fill back to white, and I'll go back into my big menu widget, click the widget options. Here in the open button background color, I'll say this blue. Perfect. And the open button radius, I want to set it to 100. I want it to be kind of an oval button. That looks good. And for the font family, I'm actually going to say here, I'm going to say inherit. And if we say inherit, we can just click on the widget, and then we can go to the text tool in Adobe Muse, and I'm going to say Lotto. So it's going to inherit the Lotto font from Adobe Muse here. We did that by simply typing in inherit for the font family. And if we wanted to use a Google font, we just delete this text here that says inherit, and then we can choose from over 700 Google fonts here in this option here. Everything here looks good. I don't want the button transparent. I don't want a different cursor for the open button trigger, but you can add a different cursor from over 20 different cursors, or you can select an image here from by clicking add file, and the image has to be 128 pixels by 128 pixels or less. And here's where you link everything, and or you add the links to each of the menu items. And I'm just gonna capitalize all the menu items here for the text and the link text. Very good. And for the close button icon, I want it to be that X there. Okay, so I'm gonna go to this options here, because we have more options here for the big menu. And for the overlay color, I'm gonna say that blue, or actually we're gonna pick a darker blue there. For the font color, we want it to be white. For the font hover, we'll say white as well. For the font, again, I'm gonna say inherit, and it'll inherit the Lotto font, or we click on it, go to text, and set it to Lotto. Alright, very good. And I actually don't think we needed to do that, because I might inherit it from this Lotto here. Okay, so we did that, and we can select an image for the cursor again. I don't want to select an image there. For the close button, the color, I want it to be white, and good. And the close icon close size 32, that looks good. Alright, so everything looks good there. So now I'm going to go back to my plan view. I'm going to go to my Adobe Muse website, and I'm going to go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and we have the menu there. And if I click on it, oh, one thing we didn't do is we didn't bring the menu to the front. So we want to go to our Layers panel in the master page, create a new layer by clicking this icon here that says New Layer, and we want to bring everything here to the second layer, and this ensures that the menu and the logo stay on top of all the other elements on the Adobe Muse website. So now I'll go to Plan View, I'll go here, and I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and if I click on the menu, we have the little boxes, big menu here, and we have Home, About, Work, Clients, and Contacts, and the logo stays here on top. Very good. And if I close it, we go back to our site, and there it is. Very nice. Alright, so, and I could even move the menu a little bit higher, and the logo, maybe make it smaller. So maybe I'll do a little bit of styling here, and Here, I'll just make the logo a little bit smaller, move it up. I'll move the menu up a little bit, like so. That looks good, and perfect. So there we have the menu and the interactive particles effect widget. And the last thing I'm going to do is add the Cliq effects widget. So I'm going to go to my library panel. I'm going to go to, I'll close this here, I'll go to Cliq effects widget 1.1. There was a new update recently where you can add the Cliq effects over any element on your Adobe Muse website by making the icon or just making the button transparent, and then you can place it over anything you'd like on your Adobe Muse website. So I'll click on Cliq effect widget 1.1. Looks good, and then I'm just going to randomly select a few widgets, or excuse me, a few icons, and for the Cliq effect, I'm going to say Radomir. I like this effect. Effect size, I'll say 120. Icon size, I'll say 50. Alright, looks good. I could even make it, let's make it, 50 is good. And the icon color before, we'll say white. Icon color after, we'll say that blue color. And effect color, we'll say white. And we don't want, we can select the cursor for this if we'd like. And we can make the icon transparent, but I don't want it to be transparent because I do want to use the icons here. And so that's the first icon, it's an arrow. So I'll just randomly select some icons here. We'll say camera. So we have that. And I'm going to bring it to the bottom of the browser. And I'm going to pin to the bottom. Like so. Looks good. And now I'm going to say Command C to copy. So I'm just going to copy this 4 times. There I have it. And I'll select all these. I'll go to Align, Distribute Spacing horizontally, and I have it aligned to content area, so it's going to align it to the content area. And actually I want to align to selection, so I want to align these together, so I'll click it again, and that way it doesn't use the page width or the page to determine the alignment. It just uses the elements here and spaces them evenly between the elements. Okay, so if I preview this in the browser, I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. We have our icons here, and if I click on it, we have the Cliq effects and the icons change color. So I'm just going to pick some other random icons here, so we have different icons. So there I've added all the different icons. So the other thing I'm going to do is remove some of this footer space here. So I'm going to go to Plan View, I'm going to go to the master page, and I'm just going to bring this all the way up so we don't have any kind of footer space there. And that ensures that the icons will be right at the bottom of the page browser. So I'll go back to my home page and I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and I'll bring the icons down as well, like so. We have them right, I'll bring them all the way down, and there it is. So I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and there it is. So we have our icons here at the bottom, and every time you click it, it triggers the interactive particles effect, which is a really nice effect there. If we scroll up, we have the pixelated to non-pixelated effect there, and it stops kind of at this area, so we can picture that this is the rectangle here, and the key position is kind of here from the top of the browser, so it stops when it hits the top of the browser, so we can see the lady and the kayak here, which is really nice. And then we use the big menu widget, we use the little boxes widget from the big menu widget. So if I click here, we have for the menu, we have the logo here I got from freepik.com, and we have the menu there. Very good. We also have these buttons here, and you could use them as menu items as well. Now we see these are on the menu. If we didn't want them on the menu, we'll just go back to Adobe Muse, we'll go to our layers panel, and we'll click layer 2, and we'll just bring all these Cliq effects down to layer 1. Perfect. Alright, and I do want the, actually no, that should be fine. So I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, I'll scroll up, and perfect. Everything looks good. Hover there, scroll up, we have the pixelated to non-pixelated effect. We have the Cliq effect widgets here, and we have the big menu widget here. Okay, and we can see we don't have the Cliq effects there. You could leave them if you'd like to, and they could be like social media icons, and they could have a really nice Cliq effect there that could take the user to social media. Very good, so that's it for this video tutorial. I know I went over quite a bit of content. I did want to show the pixelated to non-pixelated effect. But yeah, it is fun to work with these widgets and really kind of give you some homepage ideas for when building your website. So I had a lot of fun creating this website and kind of showcasing all of these ideas and effects. So to access the widgets here, we have the interactive particles effect widget. Right here we have the big menu widget, and we have the Cliq effects widget. To access these widgets, you simply go to museforYouShop.com, and you can click here on the pop-up, and you can get all widgets and any new widgets I come out with for $39 a year. You can click here to subscribe, or you can use PayPal to subscribe. Or if you'd like to purchase the widgets individually, you can click on the widget and click add to cart. Or again, here you can subscribe to the yearly plan. Very good. So that's pretty much it for this video tutorial. And I'll just go back here to the widgets. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this video tutorial. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, you can subscribe below. There's links in the show more section area. I'll leave links to some of the resources I use, like unsplash.com and FreePic, so you can kind of check out the images and things like that. Unsplash has amazing images. I just really like using images from unsplash.com. It's really great. So yeah, again, I do this to help you build awesome websites without code. Yeah, and visit museforYouShop.com. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video tutorial.